your name. I want to sing one song. I thought nobody there, you are just chanting. Then I saw the time has changed. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay, Prabhuji. It's very nice. You all joined early and we were able to chant with you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Your chanting is best, Mataji.
Thank you.
हरे कृष्ण विनीता गंधर्विका माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय प्रीतिदास जी from Charlotte. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining every day and announcing your name. First, welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण.
Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. My humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. This is Sushmita from Canada.
Hare Krishna, Sushmita Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining every day, giving your sweet association. Welcome to the call. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead. Hare Krishna, is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Okay.
Huja, tipo poučte terkeje.
Hare Krishna, Arvindaksha Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhu, for joining. Yes, Prabhuji, now the timings has changed. That's why we are starting late class. We are 1 hour back now. So instead of 4:50 India time, it is going to start 5:50 from today onwards. Yeah, that's why we are late. Yeah, we will start the recording if nobody want to introduce themselves.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mataji, you want to introduce?
It's okay, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Kalyani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sanga conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Antaranga Prabhuji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 11th chapter, 25th verse. Before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I request Ayan Prabhu to take over from here and give a brief introduction about today's speaker. Over to you, Ayan.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. I offer my obeisances to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Here is a very brief introduction for our dear speaker, His Grace Antaranga Das. Prabhuji joined ISKCON 16 years ago. He is an ashram resident for last 8 years. Prabhuji got initiated in the year 2020 in the manner from His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Swami Maharaj. Prabhuji's main services are as follows: Sankirtan, Pujari, and teaching courses for the School of Bhakti. By education, Prabhuji is a psychologist. Here goes the brief introduction for Prabhuji. Over to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. 1 second, Prabhuji. I'm trying to spotlight you. Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhu, for joining again. It's very nice to have you again, Prabhuji. Last class was very beautiful. We are very fortunate to have you on the call, Prabhu. I would like to hand over the call to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear Vaishyas. Thank you so much for having me here again. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namaha. So Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me again and discussing something hopefully relevant and something beautiful on Srimad Bhagavatam. So I believe I was instructed to actually speak on a few of the verses due to your last speaker who haven't covered basically fully the verses. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I was told that I'm covering verses 22 to 24 plus 25. Can someone correct that, please?
Sure, Prabhuji, we can cover that.
Is that there?
Yeah, I think so, because if you have got that information, yes, Prabhuji, I think Shamagori Mataji is a little busy. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yes,
Go ahead,
Prabhu,
Prabhuji.
my apologies. My apologies, Prabhu. Yes, Shamagori Mataji had sent them to me, so I had forwarded them to you. So those are the verses we are going to be discussing today, if that's okay.
Okay, 22 to 25, correct?
Correct, Prabhu.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So without further ado, we're gonna kind of go forward with the verses of today's discussion. We are entering very interesting section of Srimad Bhagavatam. Here, we are hearing the narration. I believe it's all spoken by Narada Muni, to my understanding. Narada Muni at this point should be presenting the concepts of Varnashram, should be presenting, yes, the perfect society, the four social classes. So this is very important. One of the interesting things, so as mentioned in my introduction, I'm a Sankirtan devotee, which means that every day I'm on the streets distributing Srila Prabhupada's books, especially here in UK or generally in the Western world. There's a lot of lack of Vedic culture and deeper understanding of the psychophysical makeup of individuals. You see, every society or every culture can be actually judged by the levels of happiness that the individuals are able to obtain. So happiness has varieties of sort of different aspects connected to it. There's artha, kama, dharma, and moksha. These are general four principles or pillars of somehow happy or satisfied and saturated life. So what is happening in the modern society, and not only in the Western world, in India is also actually also much, much more obvious due to its historical sort of affiliation with the Vedic culture or crib of the Vedic culture, the place where the Vedic culture started. So if something is saturated by a certain level of culture and then is deviating from the particular culture, it is even much more visible. In the Western world, that Vedic culture is not present for about thousands of years. But you can see that the nature of culture is determined by the level of happiness. So my point, my angle from this is that in this particular section, Narada Muni is actually presenting how individuals can be only happy by truly understanding their makeup, their nature, their abilities, their limitations, their duties, what they should do, what they shouldn't do, all based on the karma, the activities that they carry, or the activities that they perform, and guna, the qualities that they carry in their heart. So, and the reason why I came from the angle of happiness, because that is actual indicator if you are properly situated. You see, in the modern world, everyone is striving to be a CEO, a philanthropic person or entrepreneur, and dealing with finances and earning like this, doing different sort of activities which are socially highly praised and acceptable. But you can see those people, even if they have a capacity to do so, you can see that they're not happy, they're not satisfied, they're not saturated by just being into this type of activities. So even if someone is of simple nature and does his duty in the right way, he will just be happy. So what it means, let's start with the translations, with the verses, and slowly build up. So this is verse 22. I'm just going to read the translation. To be influential in battle, unconquerable, patient, challenging, and charitable, to control the bodily necessities, to be forgiving, to be attached to the Brahmanical nature, and to be always jolly and truthful. These are the symptoms of Kshatriya. So I would like to focus on a few of these terms. There's a term in the end of this verse, Kshatra Lakshanam. So this next following verses, this term Lakshanam will be quite frequently repeated. Lakshana means symptoms. So what is very interesting is that, for instance, when you go to a doctor's and you're sick, right? So you don't even have to tell the nature of your sickness. You don't have to share anything in terms of your sickness. You don't have to say, oh, I have a flu, or I have a, I don't know, headache. But what you have to do is present the symptoms. I have a runny nose, I have a high temperature, I have a headache, my joints are aching, my eyes are itching, I'm sweating, I have a heart palpitation, my lungs are, I don't know, difficult for me to breathe. And the doctor will say, okay, you have a flu. So what it means is that more than the world, which is the nature of the world is that we're focusing and try to, from a fake premises, present that we're making certain statements rather than focusing on the symptoms. So what does this mean? That if you have a certain symptoms of sickness, then naturally you can identify the sickness. So in a similar way, some people say, and it happened to me many times, I'm a Brahmana. They're on the streets and distributing books and say, oh, I'm a Brahmana person. They sometimes even fetch out their Brahman thread. I say, oh, that's amazing. And then naturally, Srila Prabhupada trained us that we are not sentimentalists. That's why these symptoms are here. So I start asking series of questions. Oh, what type of Vedas are you focusing on? What is your Brahmanical education? What type of, I don't know, profession you as a Brahmana are perfect in? What kind of work you perform? What is the nature of your attributes and your character? What kind of a service you do? What kind of a Brahmana you are? And if you start probing deeper and deeper, then actually shows that people are not. They hiding behind certain sort of a status, but the symptoms, the lakshanas, are not present. So what does this mean? That Srimad Bhagavatam is an unsentimental book. Unsentimental book in the sense it presents things, the naked reality of our character. And many times we don't like what we have inside. Many times we don't like to be something, be presented as who we are, because we don't like that sometimes. So here in the translation it says, influential in battle, unconquerable, patient, challenging and charitable. So there are many interesting sort of concepts, almost bipolar concept. Here you said unconquerable, but on the other side it says forgiving. Here it says challenging, but on the other side it says truthful. It is said influential in battle, but it is said attached to the Brahmanical nature. So Kshatriyas are not only people which like to fight, conquer, have an aggression, or people which like to only manage, rule, and making certain sort of adjustments to the hierarchy of society. No. There are also another side which you have to also overcome, as necessarily in this particular incident as a Kshatriya. Kshatriya needs to be willing to give charity. Kshatriya is a person who is able to put his life down for the righteous cause. Someone who's willing to sacrifice himself. Someone who's willing not only to rule and conquer and give orders, but someone who's able to take his crown down and bow to the feet of devotees and Vaishnavas. So there's a great difference and sort of, as I said, attributes of a Kshatriya which are on the two spectrums of character. Is not only to rule, manage, and give orders and instructions. No, it's also to be humble, subservient, giving, charitable, and also willing to lead with his own example. It's not only to be a manager, it's to be a leader. If you look in the Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter, there's all these presentations of all these great kings, these soldiers, these warriors, these leaders of Akshahunis. They've been not somewhere in the background, in the bunkers, pushing buttons and giving orders. They've been in the forefront. They've been in the front lines of the battlefield. And they boast in having scars and bleeding out on the battlefield. And that gives them immense joy. So it is in Mahabharata, sometimes this described that if you came from a battle not harmed, not bleeding, not sort of a cut, then they made fun of you. That what kind of a battle you went into? You've just been following those which you are easy to destroy. You're easy to kill. That's why you have no scars. Why you haven't picked a battle with someone with your own size, someone who's greater than you? Then you're a true Kshatriya. So it's not only about taking the cream, the positives, the good things, but also willing to pay the price of taking position of a Kshatriya. So that's very interesting. So that's one verse. And here Narada Muni very strictly and specifically speaks about these lakshanas, indicators or symptoms. So the key words for today class is lakshana. Again, Vaishya lakshanam in verse number 23. Being always devoted to the demigods, the spiritual master, and the supreme Lord Vishnu, endeavoring for advancement in religious principles, economic development, and sense gratification, dharma, artha, and kama. Believing in the words of the spiritual master and scripture, and always endeavoring with expertise in earning money. These are the symptoms of Vaishya. So this is another interesting concept. Being a Vaishya doesn't only mean that we can turn money, or we can turn goods into money, or we can earn money. It means, look at this, being chaste and always devoted to the spiritual master, believing in the words of the spiritual master and scriptures, means being expert. Expert doesn't necessarily mean that, you can just trade and exchange. It also means the subtle intricacies of earning, sort of subtle intricacies of creating impact on the society, on those people which you're trading with, creating certain name, and sort of your name needs to be like form of steadiness, quality, tranquility, someone whose word in the business area means actually something. Someone who's not only driven for economic development, but also to creating a society and a structure and order, and able to supply the needs and the goods to people. So Vaishyas are the structure, or Vaishyas are the foundation of the whole society. People which are earning and actively earning means that it's not only about sense gratification. It's not only about me, my family, my children, my heritage, my culture, my sort of a small society, but it's actually also doing the other side, the tapasya of providing for anyone and everyone. It is said that those which are grihastas or vaishyas, there should not be a day when they not invite a sadhu or someone from a spiritual caste or spiritual society in their house to feed them. Not a small rule. If you, for instance, saying goodbye to someone and you try to say them goodbye on the way from, they leaving your house. If, let's say, they just leave your door and they immediately shut the door in front of them, that's very rude. On the Vedic culture, the number one type of cultural way for Vaishyas is that you completely walk your guest to his home, or from your door, you observing him until you can't see the guest anymore. That's considered Vedic culture. Srila Prabhupada was referring to his father, Gaur Mohan De, that he was a devotee, but every single day he was inviting sadhus to his house to feed them. And every time he feed them, he said, please bless my father, please bless my son, Abhay Charan. So there's always two sides. There's that side of enjoying certain license for sense gratification, but there's that part that we should be willing to facilitate the other varnas, right? All the other cultures. So we are looking at the moment at the verse 23. If you can put it there on the screen, verse 23, please, not 25. So this point we have to understand that Vedic culture comes with a certain, not only licenses, but certain responsibilities, needs, and things that we have to fulfill to actually truly be within the varnashram system. You see, ashram or varna means that we are able to fit in within a society to the degree that we are able to progress. Varnashram system is situated or presented in such a way that there is progress in spirituality. Doesn't matter who you are, which, brahmachari, vanaprastha, grihastha, sannyasi, brahmachari, whoever you may be, brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, or shudra, by you being able to identify yourself and sort of fit in within the scope of your varnashram, that actually allows you progress. Like, for instance, if you're applying for a new job and you say, these and these things I can do. I can speak 7 languages. I'm able to work on a computer. I'm able to, I've mastered these programs. I can work with, I leaded group of teams of 200 people. I was organizing international things like this. So basically, if you lie in your CV and then you come to work, which equals the lies of your CV, then you're not able to perform, then you'll be unsatisfied. But rather, if you say, well, I'm not so qualified, these are my limitations, these are my abilities, this is the thing I can do and something which I like to do, then when you enter that sort of a workspace and work environment, you just be blossoming, you'll be happy, you'll be satisfied. So we need to ask ourselves, what am I willing to do for free? What is that duty, activity, and service that I'm even willing to do free of charge, which gives me happiness and pleasure? And if you're able to be paid for that, then you're a blessed man. So this is what Krishna consciousness means. This is what Varnashram means. It means performing an activities and the duties that are suitable for you. And ultimately, in the end of the day, you're happy. And you also feel certain pinch and pressure of responsibilities within that scope of that Varna for you to actually progress. So this is actually an interesting key, that we are not spiritual yet fully. We are not pure souls fully, speaking for myself. We have to understand our nature, our limitations, our abilities, and fit ourselves to such a degree that we are able to put ourselves on the right path. That's what Varnashram system means. Varnashram system means, yes, I am a spirit soul, but I am in the material body, with material mind, with material consciousness, with material desires, needs. And if you're able to sort of create a framework around those needs and desires, then you will progress. And this is a secret. And sometimes we are unhappy because we are not able to put ourselves in that framework. So next verse, this is verse number 24. Offering obeisances to the highest section of society, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas, being always very clean, being free from duplicity, serving one's master, performing sacrifices without uttering mantras, not stealing, always speaking the truth, and giving all protection to the cows and Brahmanas. These are the symptoms of a Shudra. So it's very interesting, you see. Even if within our society, people say, oh, I'm not a Shudra, or I don't want to be a Shudra. But look at these tremendous, beautiful attributes and characteristics required from Shudras. Clean, Shocham, very important. Always speaking the truth. Speaking the truth is very, very important. Giving all protection to the cows and the Brahmanas. That's such a beautiful service. So even Shudra, which is considered like a low class, look at the absolutely tremendous, powerful attributes and qualities which even Shudra needs to possess. So if you take a Shudra and tell him, go to the library and study for 8 hours, he'll be upset. It will be difficult for him. But request a Shudra to help someone, to serve someone, to facilitate someone, allow someone else's goals, spiritual goals, be part of his life. He can be happy and satisfied. You see, modern celebrities, singers, actors, performance, those which are performing for others, these are all Shudras. These are all, in majority, Shudra activities. And if you look in the modern music industry, you see Shudras are not able to invest and spend money correctly. When you give money to someone, they immediately buy unnecessary things. And they're able, with a span of weeks, months maybe, if they accumulate a certain wealth, just sort of throw it out of the window on useless decisions. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita and the Vedic society says Shudras need to be protected. You see, modern society considers overseeing someone as a means of exploitation, because this is a generational curse. Throughout the history, we see that if someone is above me, naturally he wants to exploit me. He would take my resources, my time, my money, my energy, everything will be taken away. But in the Vedic perspective, everything is based on shelter. If you're a Shudra mentality and you find a right master, someone who you can trust, someone in whom you have faith in, some good bona fide Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya, you feel happy that he's able to make decisions for you. For those of you which are in a position of making important decisions, either within your family realm, or even in your job realm, or even in your activities or any other spectrum, what a great relief it is sometimes just to say, Prabhu, you make the decision. You do what needs to be done, I will follow. I've been a Sankirtan leader now for, I don't know, 6-7 years at the Mana. And when sometimes it's like, you know what, this is a headache. Please, you take over and I will do what needs to be done. I will follow your instructions. So to have someone who has a bona fide decision-making is a relief. So for a Shudra to be under right authority is relief for him. Ask some people, make decisions day after day, life after life, difficult decision, tough decision. Their head they just collapse and break emotionally and mentally. They will dismantle. So what it means that understand your nature and understand your limitations, and don't be shy to follow your nature. That's what Krishna consciousness means. And now we're going to enter in the next verse, in verse 25. To render service to the husband, to be always favorably disposed towards the husband, to be equally well disposed towards the husband's relatives and friends, and to follow the vows of the husband. These are the 4 principles to be followed by women described as chaste. Okay, let's go controversial. Let's go slightly controversial. We can see in the modern society that due to this generational trauma of not having rightful, trained, and educated leaders, starting with husbands or with men, the side effect of not having good leadership on the family premises, on the family platform, on the platform of the society, of the platform of the political situation, and on the platform of general functionality in our day-to-day life, we develop this generational trauma of, if I be underneath someone, that immediately means exploitation, as I was mentioning previously. But here in this verse, this is not me saying. This is Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Narada Muni saying. This is Narada Muni, the transcendental spaceman, giving direct presentation what chastity in womanhood means. And if you look, the nature of that chastity, it doesn't deal with even her as a woman, but her as a woman in relationship with her environment. And the principal center of woman's life is the husband. Here it is. Service to the husband. Favorably disposed to the husband. Husband's relatives and friends. And follow the vows of husband. So it's not about what the woman achieved. It's not about who she is. But it's about her chastity towards her authority, which is the husband. And if we as a society are not able to appreciate, understand, and contemplate upon these concepts, then there cannot be no happiness. Srila Prabhupada explains about the happiness of a family life. It is very important in the purport. It is very important for peaceful household life that a woman follow the vow of her husband. Any disagreement with the husband's vow will disrupt family life. In this regard, Chanakya Pandit gives a very valuable instruction Damtayo kalaho nasti tatra shri swayam agata. When there are no fights between husband and wife, the goddess of fortune automatically comes to the home. So there's a lot of discussion in modern sort of platforms on the society, in media, about sort of a gender roles. It's been a last 2-3 years tremendous sort of a wave of sort of a gender-related topics. We can see, especially in the Western world, that it just doesn't work. The concept of marriage, the concept of relationship between man and woman, it doesn't work. And you know what? This is actually very good and very healthy. Why? Because when we try to disrupt the natural Vedic order, you know what? Forget about the Vedic order, the nature order. If we're going against the tide of our natures and our attributes and activities and the way that we should function within sort of a dyadical relationship. Dyadical means between man and woman. And if it doesn't work, then it's just more and more indicating and pointing fingers that this is not the right path forward. So if we're able, against our limitations of our false ego, saying, well, I want to be the enjoyer, I want to be in the center, I want to do what I want to do, I want to be independent, I want to be free, I want to be single, I want to do things like this, then you or us as a society, we don't deserve nothing else than karmic punishment. We don't deserve nothing else than just to be disturbed. We don't deserve nothing else than just to be unhappy. Because that will happen anyway. Doesn't matter how much we rebel against the Vedic rules and regulations and the concepts. The unhappiness is certain. It's not me saying, it's Narada Muni saying, it's Srila Prabhupada Acharya confirming. So we have to learn, but with that said, we don't have anything against women. We actually, more than against women, we have something against men. We have against untrained, unqualified men. You see, I am a brahmachari, and as per se, I don't have experiences with this type of a sort of a functionality. I am a psychologist though. And one thing is for sure, if we see a right leader, if we will see the correct brahmana, if we will see the right qualified, trained, educated men, let's say husband material, our nature, due to the intensity of other person's nature, will put in a submission and allows to be led. So I would like to also share something with you. Only relationship I can share with women is that I have a lot of mothers here in Bhaktivedanta Mana. These Vaishnavis, these senior mothers, are so caring, so loving, so protective, so guiding, that we have, as a Sankirtan department, there's one Vaishnavi, one Radhanath Maharaj disciple. And I think I would like to glorify her at this point. Her name is Radhika Priya Mataji. And she's such a caring woman for us, Sankirtan Brahmacharis. She invites us quite frequently to her home. She cooks for us. She asks us how we're doing. She sort of, because we Brahmacharis, we don't have mothers. Our mothers are usually far away, or just we are not able to see our respective mothers all the time. So that sort of a protective feminine energy has tremendous power. And when I mean power, it's able to subdue us as individuals or as brahmacharis to the degree that we are happy to serve her, in a sense that whenever I see her and I'm on the altar, I bring some mango sweet and offer to her. Or for instance, you know, it's like there's this bond, there's this tremendous bond and relationship which comes from a natural way of being within our roles and being within our nature. So if a right qualified husband is, then he attracts qualified women. If there is qualified women, she's able to give protection and create a qualified progeny. If there is qualified progeny and they receive qualified training and education, there's a qualified society. If there's a qualified society, then everything is harmonious. And Prabhupada actually explains this sort of a metaphysical hierarchical order within society. How if people are correctly trained and understood their natures and act accordingly, everything and everyone can be happy. So you judge for yourself, mothers, Vaishnavis, and ladies. Are we able to put ourselves under the category of chaste women based on the lakshanas or symptoms of Narada Muni? Are we able to render servant to the husband? Not we, like not me, but are we able to render service to the society by upbringing correct progeny? So Srimad Bhagavatam is not only a book, it's a presentation of order within the cosmos, within the universe, and within scope of our individuality. Are we carrying lakshanas of that we should do? Are we having symptoms of our claims? Are we having symptoms of devotees? Are we having symptoms of Vaishnavas? Do we have symptoms of chaste women, chaste man? That is the question we have to ask ourselves. In the ancient past, it is said that women didn't even have to get initiated. Why? Because if there's a qualified husband and he accepts a guru, then the wife naturally accepts husband as a guru, and husband's guru becomes her guru. So the woman is naturally initiated if the husband is initiated. I hope that makes sense. It's a bit of a lofty topic, and please don't accept any offenses. I didn't mean to say anything offensive, or even if it came across, I apologize. But we need to understand that Srimad Bhagavatam creates a line and creates symptoms which only one who can cheat is us, speaking for myself. There are a lot of symptoms which we are falling short on regular basis, myself very much so. But it's a line that we can strive for. And when Srila Prabhupada came to the Western world and started preaching Krishna consciousness, with him didn't came only Srimad Bhagavatam as a book, but Srila Prabhupada was a walking testimony of how person who follows the path of Bhagavad Marg and the process of Bhakti is able to uplift himself to the degree that not only he's reading the text of Srimad Bhagavatam, but he's living the symptoms prescribed by the previous acharyas headed by Sri Narada Muni. So I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for your good attention. If there are any questions, any points, any chastisements or corrections, then please let's share them now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the beautiful class. I don't have any questions, but we have raised hand. Sukaka Krishna Prabhuji, please go ahead with your question.
Thank you, Mataji, Vinita Mataji, for giving me a chance. Thank you, Antaranga Prabhu. Within this short time, you went for the past verses, you covered so nicely and came to today's verse also. So, today's situation, the Mataji is also going for jobs, and Prabhu is also working, they're also initiated. So, even if devotees, there are some little bit of false ego problem, there is fights happening. Even within devotees also, diversions are happening. So, how to get out of that situation? Because sometimes the wife is a CEO and husband is just a worker, but they are married because the Guru Maharaj has told. So, there is always a domination. Knowing the rules also, the Mataji dominates. So, what can be the way to bring harmony to see that they don't break? Where the breaking will, the children will also get broken. Sorry for this complicated question.
No. I think it's a very healthy question. You see, as bad as it may sound, the old caste system marriage and arranged marriage is the best way forward. And I'm not expert on this particular field, but I can say those which are my friends, still the predominant way of creating couples still within the realm of ISKCON is based on liking. Oh, she looks good, she's young, or I look good, I have a long hair, I look very attractive, I would like to start associating with her. In the old times, it was in such a way that elders, seniors, and brahmanas, they understood your nature. They knew you who you are. They know what kind of qualities do you possess. They can read through you. They can see through you. They know you better than you are. And they went to another village, and there were another bona fide brahmanas, another bona fide seniors. And they found there's a girl. And this girl has qualities and abilities which are suitable for this young boy. And then they marry them together. And you can see statistically that arranged marriages, which are done correctly with the help of Jyotish, with the help of bona fide astrology, with the help of bona fide people which truly know through and throughout to the hearts of those individuals, percentage-wise, much more lasting than marriage and a society based on likings and dislikings and external things, external qualifications. As bad as it may sound, as so-called primitive as it may sound, there's no term in the Vedic history called divorce. Find me term divorce in the Vedic Sanskrit term. There's good reason for it. And the reason is because we put knowledge, wisdom, faith, qualities, attributes before likings, attraction, and physical physical likings. That is reality. If we accept it or not, the Vedas speak much more louder, and the divorce rate and disturbances within family life speaks louder than any other claims. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, just in connection to the same thing, now we are reading in the scriptures that whatever is happening is only by Krishna's knowledge, everything happens. Nothing goes without his knowledge, and even a leaf cannot move without his permission. So a husband and wife are there, but the wife is sometimes shouting, and apparently the husband is also feeling egoistic problem in front of others. The wife is shouting. So it is written in the Shastra that if somebody is shouting, you should know that it's a karmic reaction. And Krishna is using the wife to wipe your karma and cleaning you. So you should thank from inside, oh, thank that Krishna is repairing in my, so that I can go back home, back to Godhead. It is easy to give class and give lecture, but when it comes to your own situation, it is very tough to accept that and then pray that there should be no enemies in the world. All enemies are Krishna's child. So everyone should be honored, and they are right and we are wrong. The humility to that level that anything happening good, it's Krishna's blessing. Anything happening bad, I am the cause. But giving class is easy, but when it comes, somebody comes for Ishta Goshti, it is easy, it is difficult to convince that this is the way everybody should live. And moreover, nowadays, the living together relation has become more bad that in India also the law has approved living is allowed, living relation. So that is like a cats and dogs relation. So the whole yuga is going into a very bad circle. We just wanted you to throw some light on this issue.
Krishna permits things which are also there for our purification. That is true. But Krishna also, we have also free will. So if we desire something strongly, Krishna may give hints that this is maybe not the best path, not the best way forward. But if we still persist, Krishna will be, okay, if that is your desire, I told you this is the wrong path, but you will have to learn something. Because Krishna also takes our desires in consideration. So if our desire is to have a certain unsuitable partner, then Krishna will maybe hint some points here and there. But if we still persist, then Krishna will not break, like he will not be the one, like if anyone wish to say something against the marriage, let them speak now or be silent forever. It's not like Krishna would just like, no, stop it. No, Krishna will teach us the lesson in a different fashion. In terms of theory and practice, that's a different thing. Srila Prabhupada, when he was writing Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, he made philosophical and theological statements. But if you read his letters, he was dealing with time, place, circumstances, and people. So one thing is Shastra, one thing is Siddhanta, one thing is Varnashram, and the perfect levels and standards. But another thing is reality. So you have to be sort of knowledgeable of both. You as an individual devotee have to understand the goal, the Siddhanta, but simultaneously being able to make adjustments, variations, and understandings based on kala, desha, patra, time, place, and circumstances. And that's what Acharya means. Srila Prabhupada came from India, where the Varnashram system at that time was still relatively preserved. He came to America, where there was a completely Mlecha Loka, Yavana Loka. People have no idea about how to function. So he didn't apply all the stringent, heavy rules and regulations for the Westerners. We wouldn't be able to hack it. We wouldn't be able to function in such a way. But he was never sort of adjusting the Vedic conclusions. He said, yes, you are smoking, you're eating meat, you're doing all these nonsense things, but this is the level, this is the bar, this is the standard you have to live up to, or at least try to live up to. And from that, I can't budge, because those are Krishna's words. So reality is there, but then the real reality of the Vedic philosophy is still there. So we just have to see how we can allow these two things to come together. But this is the biggest problem, the reality of our lives. And for that, you need Vaishnavas around you. Now, Vaishnavas will know you. Like, I can't say anything to anyone here present in terms of what they need to do, because I don't know you personally. All I can say is, what is the presentation presented in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita? But Kala Desha Patra, it's a different thing, different scenario. Hare Krishna.
One Mataji, Prabhupada disabled Juan. She came and told Prabhupada that, I love you so much, I want to marry you. But he didn't shout at her. He just explained to her that I am sannyasi and you're supposed to marry. Then she became Jamuna Mataji. So like that, when people come to us, we are not having that level of maturity not to shout. And once I think in Prabhupada giving lecture, and all people came nude. And Tamal Samaraj was shouting. He said, no, stop. He said, you are in the soul level, you're in the soul platform. You're not even, but then you should cover yourself to, like that. He made them want to listen. Next day they came with dresses. So these things are nice to hear, but to apply, you lose the patience and you shout. So
those people which can give their suggestions and guidance are those which are in a position of authority, those which you have relationship with, and those which duty is to say things like that. So for instance, if your friend tells you something, then you will accept. If your guru tells you something, then you accept. If your authority tells you something, then you accept. But if some random Joe will come and start telling you things, they'll be like, okay, no, not really. So we also need to understand, are we in a position to tell something to someone? Are we someone's authority? Are we someone's Shiksha Guru? Do I have responsibility for this person? And most importantly, am I envious, or am I telling these reflections from a perspective of put you down or uplift you? Because Srila Prabhupada had no envy in his heart. People can sense that. He was able to tell people they're rascals, they're monkeys, they're cats and dogs, but he was not doing it from an envious perspective. So people, they took it to their hearts. But if we are able to be envious less, then we our ability to speak. But if we do have envy and we want to put people down, then we should go through the right channel. If you see some deviation in someone, you can inquire, who has relationship with this devotee? Because the question may be raised, do I want to establish my superiority, or do I really want to help this Vaishnava? That is a question. Thank you, Prabhu.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you for fantastic answer, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
There's a hand raised by someone.
Yes.
Hemangi?
Yeah, Hemangi Gopeshwari Mataji. Please go ahead, Mataji, with your question.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, Prabhuji, for a wonderful class. My pranams to you. I just have a question about, there are families where the Matajis are way more advanced in devotional life, and the partner or the husband may be, starting out or spiritually inclined, but not quite there yet. So how do we apply these principles of chastity while balancing, the devotional life side by side?
Very good question. And I'll answer you with the pastime from Srimad Bhagavatam. The Nagapatnis, the wives of Kaliya, were they more advanced than Kaliya himself? What do you think, Mataji?
Yes,
Yes.
I think they were.
Yes. They prayed to Krishna for his safety. They prayed to Krishna for his advancement. And they said themselves, our husband is a fool and a rascal and he deserves to be punished, but he's our shelter. So they prayed, even when they've been more advanced, they prayed for his well-being. And they afterwards, when Kaliya was subdued and spiritually more sane with the footprints of Krishna's on his head, then they become chaste women and subservient women to Kaliya again. What was the pastime of the Brahma Patnis, the wives of the Yajnik Brahmanas? They've been more advanced. They've been able to recognize Krishna. They've been able to serve Krishna and Balaram. They provided all the necessary paraphernalia. They run away from their houses. But the instruction was, Krishna sent them back. And you know what they did afterwards? They again became subservient, humble, meek, and chaste servants of their husbands. So advancement doesn't mean I'm better. Advancement doesn't mean I'm stronger, I'm more powerful, I have more vision. A true advancement means I may be spiritually more in tuned, but I still have a duty to perform. The advancement of King Janak, it was said that he was a pure devotee, right? But he was still performing his kingly duties. There are so many instances from Shastra where people are advanced, but advancement doesn't mean superiority. It means still understanding the nature of their duties and their services. So just because wives are advanced, by you acting in an advanced way in front of your husband, you are inviting calamity into your family household. And that is the truth. Because they can sense it. Men can sense it. How can I lead this woman, give protection to this woman, if she's better than me, she's higher than me, she's more qualified than me? How can I protect her? I don't feel even inspired to give shelter to someone who constantly gives me the indications that he's better than I am. Spirituality means still performing duties. Is that acceptable?
Yes, Prabhuji, very nice answer. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the beautiful class and nice question and answer session. Very beautiful answers, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, any more questions, any realizations for Prabhuji before we end the call? Yes, we have one more question. Sukaka Krishna Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, because this is going on in a bad way. I told you about live-in relation, how it can be stopped worldwide, because that is really bringing down the whole culture, and people, the mothers are getting pregnant and so much money is being spent. They go for a contract, and after 6 months, the husband said, I only did 1 year contract, bye, see you. And this Mataji commits suicide or kill the child. So what can be the worldwide, how it can be preached and corrected to stop this sinful activities?
The inquiry of Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and his knowledge was, if I kill these elders, and ask yourself, who were the elders on the battlefield in Kurukshetra?
Bhishma and Dronacharya.
They are men. So what it means, it's not again about the women. it's in majority about untrained and unqualified men. The thing is,
Oh,
if we become good fathers, good husbands, good brothers, then naturally the woman feels sheltered. You see, it's like we also have this unripened stigma that, historically speaking, in their ISKCON realm, women being sort of not properly treated. And the problem is, again, unqualified men. If we are not able to actually give that shelter, say no when emotions are rampant, and give that shelter and protection and allow chastity to actually blossom, then we are not part of the solution, we are part of the problem. So it is said, again, Shastrically, women should always be under the jurisdiction of a man, father, husband, brother. So we need to ask ourselves, have we gave that shelter? Have we gave that nourishment? Have we gave that protection? Have we gave that training? Have we gave that education? Because if women are getting pregnant outside of the scope of marriage, what she was doing outside, who allowed that to happen?
men.
Sorry?
So the men at fault.
Yeah.
That means every time men is at fault.
Father, husband. Father is at fault. And this is not some sort of a medieval type of suppression, but it's protection. Like you get a new phone, right? When you get a new phone, what's the first thing that you buy for your phone? Probably
Okay.
Screen
protection
protector.
case, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You have a phone, you have to get a protection case. So when we value something of a nature like a phone and immediately we want to protect it, the greatest treasure of a family household is chaste woman, chaste daughter, chaste wife. So protection needs to naturally be there. So as a father who's not able to give support and a protection, then these things are inviting calamity in one's life.
Superb answer, Prabhu. So men should be very careful. Always good husband, protect wife, protect daughter, protect sister, and the women, they're all great. So anything wrong, it is the men.
We have to get ourselves educated and trained as well. But also the side is it's on both sides.
But Prabhu, the Matajis also sometimes they dress so bad, half dress, no dress, quarter dress, so men or will get attracted. No, they are not covering.
Again, the question may be who is that authority that allowed that? Even, you see, it's like the reason why Prabhupada created ISKCON is also for the sake of society. Sake of society means that you are responsible to other people around you. So if someone dresses in such a way, then do we have the maturity, love, appreciation, tolerance, and patience to approach that person who doesn't necessarily know the rules and regulations and conducts and literally selling themselves for such a way that do we have the capacity to approach it in a non-destructive way? Prabhupada tolerated, but with his love, patience, and compassion, he was able to adjust the miscreant society and youngsters, which been more than hedonistic. So love is the ultimate weapon and care is the ultimate weapon.
Super, men at fault. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the beautiful answers. Very grateful to you. Hare Krishna. Is there any more questions for Prabhuji? We have one chat realization. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the beautiful, wonderful class by Sushmita Mataji. Okay, if there are no more questions, we can end the call here. I would like to offer my obeisances to Prabhuji and all the Vaishnavas assembled.
Prabhu, that day you told you'll tell something about your Guru Maharaj. Mata said, don't ask now. I want you to tell something about Kadam Khan Maharaj, if you can tell, Prabhu.
You want me to tell something now?
Yeah, Prabhu, because that day I asked, that day Mata said, no, that'll be the end. But I really love your Guru Maharaj so much.
I should say something about Kadam Khan Maharaj. Okay, I'm going to say something. I don't know if I said it before. I'm going to share something funny, actually. this is since we're on the topic of manhood and womanhood and Varnashram. So I was once, I don't know if I said this one. Please stop me if I said this one before. So I was actually in a room with now Keshav Maharaj. Keshav Maharaj and Kadambakananda Maharaj. So when Keshav Maharaj was still Sutapa and was preparing himself for sannyas, Kadambakananda Maharaj said to him something interesting. He said, Sutapa, you should be very careful. You're very, charismatic, tall, very attractive, educated young man. Your classes are very nice. You should be sort of keeping respective distance from ladies.
Jai.
And Kadambakananda said this to Sutapa. And then Kadambakananda Maharaj looked at me. I was, brahmachari sitting in a corner of the room and just absorbing, listening, the interaction. And then Kadambakananda Maharaj said to me, he said, Antaranga, you look at yourself. You're short, you're chubby, you're wearing glasses. So no one even thinks about you, no one likes you. So you don't even think about getting married. You don't even think about women.
Jai.
So I felt really, really on the spot, being instructed that
be brahmachari always.
So Guru Maharaj really showed his love for both of us, for Keshav Maharaj, for myself, by instructing us from a different perspective. So me as a young brahmachari, I absorbed that and try to respectfully keep my distance. But yeah, it's nice.
I can see you also will become Maharaj very soon. The way you are preaching, Prabhu, we are so happy, Prabhu. Please keep coming for Bhakti Sanga.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for tolerating me, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, once again. Thank you for sharing the pastime of Maharaj. If there are no more questions or realizations, we can end the call here. I would like to offer my obeisances to you and all the Vaishnavas assembled on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
Namo Namaha.
Devotee Vaishnav Vrinda ki Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Bhagavatam ki jai.
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 Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone for joining. We'll close the call here.
Gauranga!
Nityananda, Gauranga. Jai
Nityananda.
Shri Radhe Shyam. सबको मिले वृंदावन धाम.
Hare
गोवर्धन गिरिराज की जय हो, मायापुर धाम की जय हो, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय हो,
Jai.
Jai.
अंतरंग प्रभु की जय हो.
Jai. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
विनीता माता जी की